Hi everyone. This is what happened to me when I got government housing Part 59. So sometimes when I start these videos, I say, you know, it's getting harder and these things are hard to talk about, and now we're taking a dark turn and all the rest of it. But if you've been watching since the first video, I mean, the whole thing is pretty dark and it's depressing and it's dreary and it's hard to deal with. And, you know, I wasn't the only one who was in denial, put it that way. But so now I've got a video which is also like a bit upsetting. Obviously, it's upsetting for me, but normally I put up a disclaimer at the end, and so for this one, I want to put it up at at the start, and I just wanted to say at this point, if anyone is suffering bereavement or if they're in a situation similar to mine and they feel that they can't deal with certain issues being discussed around the most extreme things that happen when you're in a block of people, which anyone who lives in units, not just public housing, should understand what I'm talking about, then you might not be able to watch this video at the moment, and you can get back to it at some other point. But I do have to continue, and unfortunately, the bad things I have to say are part of my story, and I'm not going to dwell on them, and I'm not going to talk for other people, and I can't talk for other people, and I respect, other people's privacy, but my story is what I saw and what I experienced. So it is unfortunate that I do need to include, some things, but I'll start, and so we can get through this video, and obviously, like I always say, get through this video so we can move on to the court hearing. Okay, so on the 20th of the 4th, 2017, at around 8:30 a.m., I left my unit to take my daughter to school, and when I stepped out the door, I saw that there was about 10 police officers standing there. And no, they weren't there to arrest me. I didn't speak to them, and they didn't ask me anything, so I didn't know what they were doing. And we just went past. So, and then later on that day, I went to court for a diversion program meeting, because on top of all the other things that I had to do, all the other administrative tasks which revolved around me being charged, I had to actually attend a meeting to be on the diversion program. But something really strange happened. When I got to court for the meeting, they told me that the meeting was actually scheduled for the following day. I don't know if this was true, as I always turned up to my court appointments at the right time and on the right day, but that's what they said. So I had to go home. I don't know how I could have thought it was that day if it was actually the day after. I suspected that they were just stuffing me around, but I don't think that I have any paperwork to prove the date of the hearing, so I can't put that up in this video. Either way, that was another day that was wasted. When I got home from court, I noticed that the door to one of the units in the block had been damaged, and this was the same unit that my friend had died in. And I spoke about that in a previous video. I didn't ask any of the other residents what had happened in this unit, because I just wanted to get inside so I was safe from the respondent, because as you know, he would come out and stare at me and God knows what else, if I was talking to anyone in the block. And sometime later down the track, I actually found out that the resident of that unit was found dead inside his home, like my friend was. And I didn't know what happened, and I didn't know what to do, but it was very hard to deal with and very hard to know that 2 people had died just a couple of meters from my door. And clearly, there are a lot of things that I could say, like, regarding my personal feelings and all the rest of it around that, but I won't, because it's not, it's very, it's a very tragic, it's a tragic topic, let alone, having that sort of thing near your home. And it's not something that, you know, I don't think it's something that you can discuss appropriately unless, you can discuss it fully and, maybe, in the right circumstances. But, unfortunately, that I think that that's what the police were there for in the morning. I don't know why that sort of thing requires 10 people. I have no idea. And I definitely don't ask, and they definitely don't tell, because you know, they don't tell me things. And on that subject, I have heard them discussing things with other people, but I'm not going to name names or give examples, because like I'm saying, it's not a topic that you can get into, is it? I mean, it's something that needs to be talked about. It's something that happens when you live in blocks of units, because you're living near people that you might be close to in some ways, because you get used to seeing them in the morning, or you get used to hearing them in their unit. And if something like this does happen, it really does hurt. Even if you don't know them that well, even if you don't hang out with them, clearly it does hurt, and clearly it leaves like a lot of questions. But so that was that day. And yes, after that happened, I did, clearly continue with everything else, and we'll get back to that in the next video.